Hey guys, my name is Sokhan, and this is Should I Watch This? It's where I review top movie franchises to let you know if it's worth your time. Let's talk about the first Superman, starring Christopher Reeves.
Now, wouldn't that beat all get out?
Because of the wisdom and compassion of Jor-El, because he knew the human race had the capacity for goodness, he sent us his only son. His name is Kal-El. He will call himself Clark Kent. But the world will know him as Superman.
Made in 1978, this is the original story of Superman. How he landed on the planet and how he grows up in Smallville and becomes who he is, Superman. It was really good during its time. If you watch it now, I know people have a little short attention span. The story drags on a little bit. It's a little slower pace, but it's a pretty good movie. I'm gonna admit, I watch it now, I fall asleep, but I liked it. I loved it when I was growing up. So yeah, definitely worth one checking out. Let's jump into Superman 2.
The adventure continues with the three villains from Krypton, each one with the same powers as Superman. Each one dedicated to violence against mankind.
Think of it. 3 supervillains. Or 4 if you count him twice.
The adventure continues in Washington. The world is on the brink of destruction.
Superman, can you hear me?
And Metropolis is in ruins.
Superman, help us!
Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
Superman!
General, would you care to step outside?
General Zod and his gang escapes the Phantom Zone. They're Kryptonians. They grew up on the same planet as Superman did, and they learned that they have powers. So because of that, they want to take over our planet. And you know, the president asks Superman, "Hey, come save us." The first 2 Superman movies were pretty good. Let's get into the third one, Superman 3.
He's the best con man and the world's greatest computer genius.
Let me tell you something. I can't ski!
But then he falls for a scheme to turn the ultimate computer into the ultimate weapon.
Well, what will it do for me?
It will do anything you tell me to tell it to do.
A machine so powerful,
Baby! It's Daddy!
it can control the Earth.
These movies are doing so well in the early 80s that they're just gonna keep making them. This one, Richard Pryor plays a computer genius. He ends up making up a supercomputer, and one of the bad guys' henchmen, which is a woman, you know, gets caught up in the supercomputer, and she becomes this robot which Superman has to fight. Overall, it's an okay movie. If you're not a fan of Superman, you can actually skip it. Doesn't really offer anything much other than being a Superman title. Let's jump into Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Dear Superman, forgive me for writing to you, but my teacher was speaking about the president's speech on the arms race. We're all very unhappy about it. And I said we should get Superman to rid the world of nuclear arms because only he could do it.
Effective immediately, I'm going to rid our planet of all nuclear weapons.
You know what I can do with a single strand of Superman's hair?
The vacancy pay that flies.
That hair is a sample of Superman's genetic material. Building blocks of his body. With my genius and enough nuclear power to mutate the genes, I can create a being who's more powerful than me.
If you'll help me put this on one of your missiles, I promise you, Superman will have the biggest surprise of his life. I'll introduce him to his first nightmare, a nuclear man, to pierce his skin, He'll make him mortal. He becomes sick. Dance on his grave.
Destroy Superman. First, I have fun.
Now this one's kind of cool. Gene Hackman plays Lex Luthor, and what it is, Superman is trying to create world peace. So he asks all the nations and the countries to donate their nuclear weapon, and he's going to throw it into the sun. Lex Luthor puts a device on there so that he can create his own Superman-type villain. Nuclear Man is born from this. This one was definitely more entertaining than the previous one. Yeah, I think I would check it out. Now, in between the Superman movies, there was a long period, and Bryan Singer tried to make another Superman movie called Superman Returns, and you can skip that one. You can watch a piece of the trailer here.
You wrote that the world doesn't need a savior, but every day I hear people crying for one.
I guess they had a cool part where, you know, all these bullets are flying at him and the bullet hits his eye and he's invulnerable. But other than that, not worth your time. Let's get right into the modern one, the Man of Steel.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders.
You believe your son is safe?
I will find him!
My father believed that if the world found out who I really was, they'd reject me. He was convinced that the world wasn't ready. What do you think?
This is definitely a reboot of the franchise, and Zack Snyder did an awesome job. I think super entertaining. The first half an hour of the movie takes place in Krypton, and we see how the whole origin of how the planet was destroyed and what was going on between Superman's father and his mom and what happened with that. This is the retelling of the origin story of how Superman becomes who he is, and Henry Cavil takes over, and he definitely looks like Superman. Some people complained that it had too much action, that it was really loud in theaters, and it was too fast-paced. If you wanted to slow down, I'm like, no, man, this movie was freaking awesome. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to see. And as a fan, I think this movie delivers, and the movie was received pretty well by fans. So yeah, definitely, if you're a fan of Superman, to check it out. Even if you're not, I think it's a pretty good, entertaining movie. Check out Batman vs. Superman, which is out now. I'm not gonna really say much about that. You can watch a piece of the trailer here.
You know you can't win this. It's suicide.
The greatest gladiator match in the history of the world. Son of Krypton versus Bat of Gotham.
You're psychotic.
It is a three-syllable word for any thought too big for little minds.
It's time you learned what it means to be a man.